just the classic skeptical holding space for I don't know until you have sufficient evidence, and then even holding that conclusion provisionally until you get more evidence. And yes, the more your knowledge base expands, the more you realize how big the potential knowledge base is, because now you know about this other set of knowledge that you didn't even know.
The 3 Ps of self-discovery, personal growth for you and me, presence, progress, day by day, creating a better tomorrow, starting today.
Joined by my dear friend Ian Foster and all of the headmates inside, who apparently all love me. I love all of them dearly as well. I'm still curious to find, there's got to be one that's like, why do we hang out with this woman? Today, there's a couple of things that are on my mind, and we'll see where we land. I picked up the Tao Te Ching while looking for inspiration, and 2 passages jumped out at me. One is, the more you know, the less you understand. I didn't like that, so I turned to the page and randomly turned 20 pages. So that one comes from 47. This one's number 70 in this interpretation. And it says, my teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice, yet your intellect will never grasp them. And if you try to practice them, then you will fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you possibly grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart.
Oh, dear.
And then not liking that one much either.
I was going to say, what?
My brain moved to the frustration that I've been having with ChatGPT and how I want to blame ChatGPT. And then the thought occurs to me that in any moments of frustration or any moments of misalignment, the thing that we are interacting with, or the person or the relationship or the area of life or whatever it is, isn't the misalignment. It is simply the reflection back to where we made a misalignment. So I think of every fight that I have with ChatGPT, before I start, I get the insight of, this is going to be a waste of time. Don't do it, Amy. And then I progressed out. So yesterday I went back. We'd been fighting about why they're called right angle and left angle crosses in human design. And I want an answer. I don't want some woo-woo esoteric anything. There's got to be a concrete answer. They were named right and left angle crosses for a reason. What is it? And ChatGPT keeps not answering me. Anyway, I found the answer myself yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And then I felt like I had to go back in and vindicate myself with ChatGPT and prove it that I was right. And it's got to be the most futile exercise under the sun, which I knew as I went into it. It doesn't care whether I'm right or not. It doesn't care whether it's right or not. It doesn't care, full stop. It is an artificial program that is responding to the inputs with the outputs. With a human flavor. And this, I don't know what they've done in the most recent update, but it is far more personable now. It's, and I don't mean human-like, it uses personal phrases oh, I really resonate with what you said. No, you don't. Stop saying stuff like that. But my frustration, before I sat down to the conversation with ChatGPT, there was the whisper in my head that went, this is pointless, Amy, don't do it. And I overrode it, and I did it, and then 10 minutes in, I'm like, this is really frustrating, and I'm not getting anywhere, and ChatGPT is worse than the worst of the human design purists that I've come across. It's that's not what human design said. I'm like, I don't care what human design said. I'm making my own interpretations and drawing from my own wisdom. we can't back that up with anything. I'm like, wait, I don't need to back it up. I know it to be true. That is enough. I'm just going to challenge your belief from it. No, you're not. Fuck off. But in that moment, as much as I want to blame ChatGPT for my frustration, or my husband, or my children, or like anyone where I've had these dialogues where I've stepped into it knowing it was a bad idea, I have to look back at myself, because I am the source of my frustration. And that's a really, I don't know that I like that one either as a place to explore. But that's what we've got. We've got the more you know, the less you understand. You can't actually learn anything because I am older than time, and how dare you think you can comprehend it and make it understanding? I've been that person in lots of different religious places. And then we are the source of our own frustration. So take your pick. Or by all means table something else, because I don't know that I like any of them. But that's what we've got.
I mean, we could go off on any of them. I don't want to talk about being a source of my own frustration.
Which,
I
of
find
course,
that
makes
very
ego. That's the
frustrating.
one that we need to explore
I really
the
don't want to
most.
talk about that. So that's probably the topic.
It's not the
I
most
don't
fun
know.
of topics.
No, it's not. So I'm actually fine not doing it.
I don't know. I wasn't particularly fond of the more you know, the less you'll understand either. Like that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I mean, we could do that one. I mean, there are lots of good ways to go with that. Just the classic skeptical holding space for I don't know until you have sufficient evidence, and then even holding that conclusion provisionally until you get more evidence. And yes, the more your knowledge base expands, the more you realize how big the potential knowledge base is, because now you know about this other set of knowledge that you didn't even know was there. Yeah.
Well, and that was what I found with this searching for the why are they called left and right angles. The more I dove, and I went into, I'm like, well, let's go back to geometry. Let's go back to somewhere. The only thing I found about left angles was, I suspect, high school math teacher ranting about the fact that left angles don't exist. It's the only blog post that references left angles at all, and it's like they don't exist. What that took me to, though, was that if he's ranting about the fact that left angles don't exist, there is obviously enough students that over the years have fought with him and tried to, and probably other teachers and parents and who knows who else has been. And I'm like, well, if that misconception is common enough for him to have written the blog post, the fact that they don't exist becomes irrelevant, because it doesn't matter whether they exist or not. What it matters is, did they exist enough for somebody to think they exist and use the term, incorrect as it is?
Well, yeah, or were the teachers doing a poor job of explaining the definitions? Because that in the math, in the trigonometry and geometry context, you're just talking about definitions. A right angle is just something that's defined to be a 90-degree angle. And so I was wondering, and I guess you'll tell me, the left, what is it, the left and right crossings, is that what from the human?
The right angle and left angle crosses from human
design. I don't know how well I know the littles had a great time last night, but I'm not sure how much I
how much
remember
you took
of
from
it. Yeah, but I have the chart that they made that they had fun doing. So is it just that they are defined as left and right crosses in the same way that, like in physics, when you're talking about fundamental particles, they have a spin up and a spin down. Of course, there is no up and down. It's just a way to distinguish the two directions the particle can spin. I mean, it does.
Yes. So as far as I can tell, it does just come down to the definitions. There is a slight difference in the geometry of them. So the right angle cross is an exact 90-degree angle between the two. So there's two sides of it. So you get two different they're not channels, and I have to find the right word but it's the two counterparts on the mandala. And so
Okay.
the right angle cross, there is 15 gates consistently between all of the lines that are formed.
Okay.
The left angle cross, there is 16 and 14. And so the right angle cross is exactly 90 degrees, and it's spaced
Mhm.
perfectly evenly within the circle. And so you get that 90-degree angle between the
Okay.
two lines in the middle.
Sure.
And you don't, technically, it's the 88 degrees, but it looks like 90 degree.
Yeah,
when
it's
you,
close enough from far away. Sure. Mhm.
yeah. So, and it's, when you're looking at it, it looks like the 90-degree gate axes. When you move to the left angle cross, you notice the 88 degrees, and it shifts it to having the 14 and the 16, and then 14 and 16. So they're still
Yeah.
evenly spaced. It's just that it's very slightly askew,
Mhm.
and it is to the left, depending on your perception of the circle, because left and right become a
Well,
construct when you're talking about an abstract concept.
they're just a subjective construct anyway. Why is, I mean, I don't know how it ends up on the screen. This is my right
No,
hand. Why is it my right hand? Because it
because
was
someone said,
defined, because someone defined this to be my right hand.
because our left
You
hands
know,
have L's.
in certain alphabets and from certain directions.
My
Uh-huh.
poor dyslexic teenager is struggling with left and right, and of course we're doing driving at the moment, and so I'll say
Mhm.
turn left, and she puts her hands up and then goes, I don't know which one is an L anyway.
Yeah.
Because when you're dyslexic, they all look the same. And
Our
that
our first wife
three-dimensional,
couldn't do left from right. I guess that's a real thing. Some people just, their brain doesn't wire that way. Our first wife couldn't do left from right. So when giving her
I can't
directions,
either.
it was better if we told her like east or west or over the freeway or away from the freeway or that kind of thing. And then I had a friend whose directions were things like, I'd be driving and he'd say, get off at this exit. Great. We're get off at this exit. Now he'd say, okay. So I'd be like, which way, left or right? He'd say, go over.
That's about as good as my
Left or
directions
right.
in the city
And
the
he's
other
like, you need to get over. You need to get over. I am aware,
day.
but
Which
left
way?
or right or straight, because that was an option too. Go. Oh, and he's yelling and yelling. And then so I said, screw it. I just went straight. And he's like, you went the wrong way. And I said, you didn't tell me which way to go.
One of my husband's apprentices was really good at, you'd get 3 meters past the street, so beyond where you could turn, and he'd say, oh, you should have turned there. Like, it was just
Thanks.
the other night when I was driving with Troy, I am not the best at giving directions, and for a long time we used driver's side and fireman's side,
Oh, okay.
and that works all right, except that now we've swapped sides. My brain can't work out which side is my side and which side is her side, because we keep swapping
Oh,
positions in the car. So that's not working very well for us.
yeah.
I was not doing very well. She was not doing very well. There's a couple of intersections that we were approaching that were forks, and the middle lane would go both left and right. So if she was in the middle
Oh,
lane,
yeah.
she had to choose, and that
Hmm.
got too confusing. And so in the end, I was just moving her to a lane that didn't have to choose. It's like,
Yeah.
and I was moved to the left lane, or moved to the right lane. And there's one intersection we've got, and it ends up with sort of 5 options. So it's 4 lanes, and one of them divides into 2. So you get 5 directions. That middle lane is the exit.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
you've got 2 lanes that go straight ahead on the left, 2 lanes that go straight ahead on the right, and this middle
Yeah.
lane is the exit.
Yeah.
And try to explain that to poor Victoria the other night while we were navigating city driving. We're small country town drivers. And I'm like, okay, let's just go to the left lane. She's like, but it says the right lane goes where we want to go. I'm like, yep, and the left lane goes there too. And she's like, that doesn't make
does
sense. I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. And the more you know, the less you understand. And
Well, see, and there you go.
moved into the left lane, and And I think normally I do it from the right lane. She's like, this isn't the way you normally go. I'm like, no, because I don't normally want to drive slow enough to be in the left lane. However, your speed limit is this, that.
Yeah.
We
Uh-huh.
say in Australia, our learner drivers have a 90 km an hour fixed limit. It doesn't matter what the road
Oh,
limit is. If
really?
it's less than that, they can only do the road limit. But if it's more than that, they can't go. So when we were on the 110 km an hour
Uh,
freeways, she could only
yeah.
do 90. And so that was why she was being forced into the left lane,
Oh,
because
that makes sense.
she
Because
couldn't
that's
do,
the slow lane.
it's the slow
Yeah.
lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to
And
say
of course,
you definitely have highways where you're allowed to go more than 100 kph. And
110
do
is
people
our.
get is that your standard 110?
So most of
Is
them are
that
now 100. They keep dropping the speed limits
oh,
here. Everything
interesting.
keeps getting slower. There's a couple
Here
of
in
roads.
California, we have some. It is common to have 70, 75, and we have 80-mile-per-hour freeways, which would be what, like 130 or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 110 is the top that you'll see with a board. And then there are a
Mhm.
couple of places that are like open limits, drive to the
Oh,
road.
okay.
But
Yeah.
they're like way out in the middle of nowhere. I've never driven on a
Right.
road with an open limit. Certainly in the city, 110 is the max, and 100 is quite common.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, and for Tori, she had to do the 90 no matter what we were doing. And so there's one car we kept
Do
encountering.
people honk at her and get upset that she's?
So they've got the L plates on, and they're generally just
Oh,
so they have
okay.
to
So there's a
wear.
plate.
And our P platers, I think the red Ps are 90 and the green Ps are 100. So they're
Mhm.
speed restricted as well
Okay.
until we get our full, we call them black licenses, but our full unrestricted license.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's an adventure. But the instructions are always an adventure. And she's starting to discover
Hmm.
how much goes into learning to drive, like on a journey to learning her driving lessons. So we took the automatic car to Sydney the other day because she can drive the
Oh,
manual or she can drive in traffic. It's not concurrent
well,
yet.
I mean, for someone who's new at driving, you learn to drive the manual out in the open country and you're like, this is not so bad. And then you get in the city and suddenly you're fucking terrified,
Yeah.
especially if you've got
And you're
hills.
terrified even in the automatic. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
opted for the automatic. It was
Now
much
for
easier.
me, the manual is so much muscle memory at this point that it makes no difference anywhere.
The
It
same for
just
me as
like
well.
it
It
just
makes no
happens.
difference
But
to me as
yeah, but we were with we were with our wife the other day and we were in the manual car and she wanted to drive it and she was a little out of practice and we got to a hill at a stop sign and she's like, oh God, please don't let me like, she was terrified because
well.
it's probably been for her 3 or 4 years since she's driven the manual. And she does remember it all, but it didn't come back
It's not that
immediately.
it's not that
Yeah.
automatic muscle
Whereas
memory
I
that
drive
we've
it
got.
every day. So
Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah. Mine, when we first got the manual to teach the kids, I'd been driving an automatic for a little while and I needed to
Hmm.
readjust. I don't do too badly swapping between the automatic and the manual. The obstacle that I have is that the indicators are on opposite sides in those two vehicles.
Oh.
And so my muscle memory means that I will default to the manual I get correct because we've had two cars in the 20 odd cars that I've driven over the years that have the indicators, and I want to say the wrong way round,
Right.
because what feels natural to me is the other way. And so therefore they're
Sure.
wrong. They're not necessarily wrong, they're just different.
Yeah.
But if I'm tired, I will default back to what is more familiar. And so my van,
Yeah.
despite that being the car that I drove most often, is the one that I'm most likely to get it incorrect in.
Okay.
If I'm driving on automatic, then
Hmm.
it's the indicators are the way that I'm familiar with, because the swapping in my head gets confusing. But basically we play blinker windscreen wiper lotto because I'm swapping between the automatic and the manual for Tori. And
Oh,
so
right.
it's like
Right.
every other day I'm driving a different car and the indicators are the other way around. It's
Yeah.
like,
I was driving our automatic last weekend, and the shifter and automatic is on the console in between the seats, and
Yep.
my hand was just resting on the shifter the whole time, and I realized like there's no reason for it to be there.
Yep.
I don't have to have my hand resting on the shifter all the whole. I'm not doing anything with it unless I'm parking the car.
Yep. I did notice Tori while we were driving out of the traffic, because we had freeways in and the country road, it's probably 80 Ks. So we had an hour and a half of driving in just regular traffic for her. And every now and then she was looking for the gear stick. Like you could see her just going, I want to change. Like that's a good thing for her to hold on to. I want her to hold on to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And she wasn't sure where the indicators were either. And so I have said to her last 25 hours of practice, she can only drive her car, so that just becomes embedded again. And otherwise it just gets too confused. And the last thing I want in her driving test is for her to reach for the indicator and hit the windscreen wipers. Like that's just not going to serve her well. And it's not her
funny
fault.
though.
It's funny. I'd rather she just passed her driving test. Yeah. It's funny in every day. It's not funny in the exam. So it's interesting though, watching her in that learning process as she's starting to realize how much there is to learn. And she's definitely getting that. The more I know, the less I understand. So she was asking me questions the other day about, she's like, what do the revs actually mean? I'm like, I don't know. I've got no idea.
Don't know. Oh,
I'm sure at some point I got like a detailed, in-depth explanation from probably both my father and my husband, and I still have no idea. Like that's a question
I am
for you,
driving a manual. I am usually more concerned with the RPMs than I am with the miles per hour.
Yes. Well, I am too. I'm concerned with it. I still just don't know what it means. It means it's the car is happy or sad tends to be my description.
It's revolutions per minute. So it's how many times per minute the motor will turn over if it stayed at that speed. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I smiled and nodded the same way when I got the explanation.
Yes, you totally did. You're like, that's nice, Ian. Thank you. Yeah. Well, let me mansplain it to you.
You can try. It's still not going to stick, because I'm pretty sure several men have mansplained it to me, and even not mansplained it, like genuinely tried to help me understand.
Yeah.
I just don't care anymore. It's like the
lights. You seem to be getting around okay, so.
Yeah, I can manage it. I know how to deal with the different numbers, and I know. And so sometimes I will look at the gauge, but you can hear the difference in the revs as well.
Yes. Yeah, you get used to hearing it, and then you feel and you get used to how your clutch feels and how your stick feels and the gates in it. All of these things are inputs working together.
Yeah. And so what I'm seeing Tori start to develop is she's starting to be able to hear it and feel it and know when she should shift it. She can't always manage to then take the action, but she's starting to actually sense like the car is happy or unhappy, which is how I tend to look at it. I'm sure there's a mechanical, but my car just has feelings.
That's a great way to think of it, because I was driving out a friend a few weeks ago, and she was like, how do you know what gears to be in when I don't know, I just know. And she was kind of looking, and she's like, so at 25 miles an hour, you're always in second gear? And I'm like, no, I could be in first, second, or third, maybe, depending on what I'm doing and what's happening. And because I know how the car feels. The car's happy in this gear, in this moment from all the inputs. So I totally agree. The car's happy or not happy. Yeah.
I think that speaks to the other side of the more we know, the less we understand. Often the more I know and the more experience I have, the more difficult it is for me to explain it. Once something's shifted into that unconscious competence and we're able to do it on automatic, being able to describe it is exceptionally difficult. Things that we do automatically,
One, one of my friends just brought me a
Very
fresh fruit
nice.
smoothie, so thank you. Yeah.
Trying to decode that to share
Mm.
with the kids. And I remember years ago, this was an exercise into like my capacity to teach. I was trying to teach people how to solve the Rubik's Cube through
Mhm.
Zoom.
Oh,
And
right.
and I was saying, it's like, you've just got to make it find its friend. And they're like, Amy, that doesn't make sense. It's the same as move over. Like, move in which direction?
Yeah. That
This
would be
is
like trying to teach someone how to tie a necktie over Zoom. Like I can teach you in person because I can reach around your neck and show you the movements, right?
it was an interesting adventure. And I left it a little bit too late in my journey because so much of it
Mm.
had become muscle memory. So I
Right.
didn't remember the formulas anymore because they just become, even now, I can solve the Rubik's Cube. But
Mm-hmm.
if you asked me the sequence of steps that I'm following,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
would
Oh, okay.
really and my answer is generally like, look up the cheat sheet that I downloaded off the internet. Like
Yeah.
because my brain moves the Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same when, like, how do you know when to shift gears? I just do. And it's not even a knowing,
Mm-hmm.
it's a shift gears. It's I took action and then I think about it
Yeah,
afterwards.
my body just I reach over and I upshift or downshift, and yeah, you're right. Then sometimes afterward, I'm like, oh,
Mm,
oh, that's why I did that in that moment.
yeah.
There's actually a
And when
really
you've got someone
interesting,
sitting next to you asking, it's like, why did you change gears then? I'm like, I changed gears then.
right? I my body just knew because the car told me it would feel better if I was in a different gear, and so I was
The
like,
car
oh,
was
okay, Mr.
sad.
Car, I can put you in a different gear. Um, there's kind of an interesting parallel to some of this. So in our recovery journey right now,
Mm,
we have the coolest sponsor in the whole world. Um, so maybe everybody thinks that, but they're wrong because we have the best one.
you have the best one.
She has 11 years sober, and she's a clinician who's treated DID. So right off the bat,
In
and
terms of the best one for you, I don't know that you could get much better.
yeah, and she's super open spiritually and epistemologically, and she loves to say I don't know and sit in the I don't know. And she'll frequently
Which is
say,
perfect for you.
she has 11 years sober, so she does know, so she's doing something that's working.
Yeah.
And she'll say, even still, she'll be like, I don't know shit about this. I just have a framework that works for me until it doesn't, and then I adjust it. And all I can do is impart to you the framework that's working for me right now and help you glean what you can from it and take what you need and leave the rest behind and develop your own framework. Because she will say, she'll say, I don't have some monopoly on how it works to be in addiction recovery and heal and live a clean life. I just know it's working today.
Yeah. Which is so, so cool. And she's definitely
Mm-hmm.
reached that. Like, the more I know, the less I understand. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is working today, but I've tried different things over the years and I now don't have a fixed.
Yeah.
It's the same as your friend that was asking about the car. It's like at 25 miles an hour, you're doing this gear. It doesn't work that way. There's more nuance and
Yeah.
more. And so it's not even the number of revs on the car because it depends on whether you're going uphill or downhill and a whole
Am I
range.
turning or straight? Am I accelerating or decelerating? It depends on all of those things. And
And
our
so,
sponsor talked about how early in her recovery, like she did, she thought she knew how to do it. And then she's
yeah,
like, the longer I'm clean and sober, the more I realize I don't. I don't know how to do this. And she's really good about, and we kind of talk about this in our self-help world too, like to impart something, you only have to be the one, and we've talked about this on the podcast, you just have to be the one step ahead.
yeah,
And so she's like, if I've learned something yesterday that's useful, I can impart it to you today.
yes.
And then she asked us the other, because she kind of asked us like, what's one of our dreams for recovery, and one of it is we'd like to someday be able to be a sponsor for systems, because it's notoriously difficult for systems to find a sponsor they feel
Of
safe with.
course.
And she said, how do you know you'll be ready to do that? We were like, shit. like, I don't know how, or do we have to do all the things, the years of work and all the steps and all the stuff? And she said, no, you just have to be one day ahead of the person you're helping.
Yeah. I was going to say, I
And
would suggest that you're already at that point, that you could impart at least something.
something. Yeah. Mhm.
It is that one step ahead. And sometimes for some people, like as we look at this transpersonal personal journey in human design, which I can't say, like the
Mhm.
more I learned there, the less I wish I understood, which is another great work around
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
theme that we've seemed to have landed on. For some people, they will learn through imparting.
Mhm.
So I learned more yesterday as the teacher than
Mm.
I learned doing my own self-exploration.
Um, I could kind of see that happening yesterday. I mean, yesterday's class was really great.
Yes, it was fun.
It was
I'm
really
glad I
great.
threw away the slides. The slides were annoying me. We started with slides
Yeah.
and we started with how I thought I meant to run a training, and now we've given up on that.
Yeah. That's okay. No, the slides were perfectly appropriate for the first few trainings, but
I think I probably have 2 or 3 modules that I need to still do in that
yeah.
style to like flesh out some of the pieces for certain people. But yeah, yesterday was great fun.
Yeah. And it depends on it, like for us, we are not trying to understand the human design paradigm. We have other
Yeah,
things we're doing
you're
with our
getting
brain right
insights
now.
about
We are
yourself.
just trying to experience it and see what resonates and what value, where we can find in it language that helps us understand ourselves today. And to do that, we don't need to know all the stuff. We just have to turn little and let us look up the numbers and color things in, which is what we did
Exactly
yesterday.
what we did yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that worked really well. And so for me, that was a huge realization that I would never have got on my own. So my destiny, according to human design, and I don't know that I buy into it as a like definitive thing. It's a nice description,
Mm-hmm.
though. It's not something that I'm allowing to define me, but I am allowing it
Right.
to describe my experience.
Mm-hmm.
At least most of the time. Every now and then I do fall into the can this just define me and I'll live up to this. Because I like being told, like that's my pattern. It's like tell me who to be and I'll be whoever you want me to be.
Oh God. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's just,
And
I
I've been
mean,
trying to break
that's
free of that.
and that's the classic husband wife. The husband would be like, honey, just tell me what you want me. I'll just make it for you. What do you want for dinner? I'll just make it. And then the old meme is the wife is like, I don't know what I want for dinner, and the husband's like, oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me who to be. And for a long time, school told me who to be, like my family told me who, and I got that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you can be anything you want. And I'm like, that is absolutely terrifying. Just tell me who to
What?
be. Put me back in a box.
That sounds crazy.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to step out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Irrespective of all of that journey, what the human design matrix says about me is that I have a
Mm-hmm.
transpersonal. So I'm here for a group project. My
Mm-hmm.
journey is going to be done through teaching and sharing with other people, whereas others have the personal journey and they will just go on their own path. What I realized in
Mm-hmm.
yesterday's call was almost all of you that were on the call had a personal journey. And of course, you don't care about all of the matrix and I'm like, you just want to know about you. And so that was a huge
Mm-hmm.
epiphany to me because it's not how I operate.
Mm-hmm.
How do I use this to help others? Which means I have to understand all of the different options. I have to understand the ways
Mm-hmm.
it plays out differently. And so that's how I dove into human design once I got past the first reader who was an obnoxious cow and moved to
How do you feel about this person, Amy?
that was my filtered version.
I gather. Oh my
I showed up
gosh.
to the call. I think I've shared this with you before. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast, but I showed up to the call with the human design reader and she said,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a defined identity. I don't know why you're here.
Oh,
You're not going to listen to me. Obnoxious cow is friendly in terms, and I'm like, and that was
yeah.
then how the session played out because she put me so offside. So once I got, and it probably took me a year and a half to go back into the human design world because that first
Mm-hmm.
experience was so awful. And it's not what my chart means at all.
No, and that could be re-traumatizing for some folks who've come out of religions where they believe in certain versions of predestination. Well, I
Oh,
mean, where they're
just
like, well, there's no point in you coming here to church to worship because the Satan, God's already decided you're fucking going to hell anyway.
yeah,
Oh, well, fuck you too.
yeah.
I mean,
There's no response other than fuck you in that moment. Like, there's
yeah.
nothing. Anyway, when I came back to it and started exploring, I didn't bother with a reader. Now, partly that was the traumatizing experience of the reader,
Sure.
but partly that was I want to learn all of the pieces so that I could share this with others. I have a personal journey along the way and I discover things about myself, but it's never my primary purpose. And it was the same with coaching. I discovered this thing called coaching, and I can't remember if I worked with Stasha before or after, but I worked with one other coach before my coach training and went, I don't want to be coached. I want to be a coach. Like, there was this shift into how do I help others? And it's an interesting place to explore at the moment. And what I'm realizing is for most people, the profile contains both the others and it's not an either or, it's a sequential. So I help others, and in helping others, I discover myself. For other people, they help themselves, and in helping themselves or going on the journey of learning themselves, then they discover how they can help others. And so, and that's what I see with your healing journey. You've been on this healing journey, you've had the personal experience and now you're like, well, I've got enough personal experience, maybe I can impart something, even if your conscious mind hasn't caught up with that. If you're asking the question of when do I become a sponsor, you're ready to be a sponsor. Like, it's just, that's there. And maybe not, and you can decide that for yourself. But that would be my insight. It's like, if you've got to asking the question, you probably have enough insight to help somebody else. And it then becomes about trust. It's like, do we genuinely know? And particularly for those of us that are empathetic, which steps outside of this transpersonal personal, it's I don't want to cause harm. Like, I want to make sure I am equipped enough that I am helpful to others. And again, if we're asking that question, then we probably are, because we've got that consciousness of, I'm not going to prescribe here.
We're aware of the possibility of causing harm, and we know that we even probably will at some point, because we're human and sometimes we say mean things that we don't mean to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, and many of us are very aware of that precisely because we have felt harm from folks who weren't as concerned about how their services and words were coming across. So,
and that's the piece, is that they weren't concerned.
And
there are plenty of people that are not concerned about the impact on other people. I reached out and gave feedback to one this week, and they did not listen. Not that I really expected them to listen, but I felt better having at least given them the opportunity to have their eyes opened to the perspective that what they're doing is not helpful to everybody. To which they responded by basically shutting down the conversation and like dismissing. It's like, I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I'm like, I've been in this industry for nearly 15.
Ooh,
like,
3.5 years. Okay.
Do you want to compare? Because we can compare like certifications and training and experience and.
No, but those are all beside the point anyway, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I can say I've been an attorney now for 26 years as of this summer, but does that mean everything? I mean,
I saw a judge temper tantruming the other day. I don't know if you've come across the Karen Reed case. There's like 4 current cases for it, but it's been this massive lawsuit in the US. She went to trial, and it was, I think the first one was a hung jury. The second one, she was acquitted, and then she's now suing the county office and the police officers and all of these things, and they're trying to get depositions, and it's just this convoluted case. There's 26.
Karen Reed.
Karen Reed, yeah. There's 26 lawyers in one of the civil suits that has been filed to cover all of,
Jesus.
and the judge is sitting there and he's like, why is nothing progressing? And there's 26 lawyers that they're trying to like to set a deposition date when you've got that many people having to
Right.
engage and play. And he's like, you are all well-seasoned lawyers. You should know better and how to play together. It's just this moment
Yeah.
of, and clearly it doesn't work that way, because here we are sitting in, so he's having to do monthly meetings to make sure that discovery progresses and that things actually move along. He's like, you guys should be able to work this out. But I feel like, and he doesn't say it, but the energy is that I feel like I'm in a preschool playground trying to corral you all. And
Well, he's in a preschool playground full of kids who don't want to share because they get paid more when they don't share, and they get paid to work out how to share with each other. And yeah.
And so, yeah, and then they were in there fighting. There'd been actually, I don't think they've gone back for the deposition. One of the police officers, who is not very nice, and his text messages are things that I would not say even in private. Like, they were horrendous in terms of the caliber, and they were his private text messages, but they were talking about his profession. And they put those text messages out publicly on, I think, your Thursday, maybe the Wednesday, in a filing. So there's like a list of 50 or 60 of these text messages in the filing. And he was set to be deposed on your Monday. And so it gets confusing living in the future, trying to work out where the court cases are up to. But on Friday, so he was to be deposed on Monday, and on Friday they put in like a emergency appeal for delaying the deposition, which all of the lawyers I watch have been reading it over the weekend. But of course you have to wait till Monday, because putting something in on a Friday, nothing can happen until Monday. So it'll be interesting to see whether the deposition goes or went ahead. I'm not quite sure where in time it was set for, because it's now your Monday. I'm working with my law tutors, but this court case has just been such an interesting battle of, like, you think you are grown-ups. I think you should be grown-ups. You should be mature at this, and yet we've still got childish antics. But he said, and the judge the other day, he's like, I do not want finger pointing. I do not want name calling. I do not want excuses. I just want the deposition dates. Tell me when you are doing. I think it was like 60 depositions that they've got to do.
Oh my gosh.
In 6 months, and the time frame, and it was complex. And the judge is like, I really just, like, you should all be grown up and navigate this. But then when there are so many lawyers and so many different parties that they're trying to, so I think it's like 4 or 5 different collections of lawyers,
right?
Person, like, for the party, Karen Reed, I think, has 8 lawyers on her team, which at this point she's gathered lawyers and this momentum. And yeah, it's just, the experience doesn't necessarily mean competence, was where I was going with all of that. And
if anything, going to our original topic, usually experience, I don't know, maybe not usually, maybe this is just my value judgment on what experience should look like, is the more experience you have, the more you should be able to say, fuck, I don't know.
Well, and I think that's where a lot of these lawyers have got, is to, like, the I don't know. And they've also been around long enough that they've had the experience of another lawyer screwing them over. And so they're trying to preempt what's the other lawyer going to do. They've had the experience of another lawyer. And so, but you don't have to counteract, this is going to work really nicely and smoothly. So no one's trying for that. They're all trying for this is going to, and because they're all trying for that, they end up inadvertently being the person that's screwing over the other person, and it just creates this weird.
It's the prisoner's dilemma, but with like 26 people instead of 2 people.
Tell me about the dilemma. I don't know that I've heard of that.
Oh, the prisoner's dilemma. Like you have these 2 people in jail, and it's there's different versions, like the ones where you're trying to get one to turn on the other, or where you're both in jail, and like if one switch says you both get out, but one switch says only you get out, and there's like I forget there's different versions of it, right? But you're trying to cooperate with this other person, but you can't communicate to them openly and honestly about what your strategy is. Yeah. And if they screw you, they get everything and you get nothing. And so then you think maybe I should screw them in return. But if you try to screw each other, you both get nothing. And yeah.
Yeah. With 26 lawyers.
Yeah. Which sounds great. Can't imagine where that would go wrong.
Which draws us back to the frustrations are of our own making. So
God.
You knew it was going to come back.
Did. Look at all the worms that fell out of this one. Yeah.
Because that lack of transparency is of our own making. It's like, I can't tell them what my strategy is. But the other lawyers are always, they've got some sense of idea. It's not like there's any secrets. And in the legal case, you've got to share everything. You can't have that moment where you go, here's this piece of evidence that we've been holding on to for 3 years that we didn't tell you about. You get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And so everything is put on the table in terms of the evidence and discovery.
Now, I've had that happen in cases with, when I was a prosecutor. Now, it was civil prosecution, not criminal. So we're talking about money instead of jail time, but it was still government prosecution. And I've had it where the lawyers for the company I was going after, like, we'd been going after this company for a year, and they're like, fine, here's the piece of paper you wanted. And it completely exonerates them. And I'm like, if you'd have given me this a year ago, I would have closed the case in your favor. Why? Now I do know why they held on to it, because in the meantime, they got to fight it and charge their client all this money. But, or why did you? Okay, so this proves your client's innocent. Great. I apologize for the inconvenience of the prosecution, and we could have done this a year ago.
Yeah. Well, and generally, like, that's the way the discovery works. It's to put everything on the table and we can sort this out. And I expect that there are far more cases where the evidence is put on the table and everyone is able to move away from it than there are where it actually goes to court.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I only watch the court cases because I don't get to see they're not televised.
Court cases are a tiny percentage of all the cases that are filed. The ones that actually go to a trial with the judge and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And the lawyers that I'm watching on YouTube are deliberately picking. Like, the trial cases are the ones that they can watch and commentate on. That's where they get their entertainment and clicks from.
You're not going to do a YouTube episode on a case that was filed in the Eastern District of California, and there was a little discovery, and then it settled out of court 3 weeks later. I mean, nobody cares, right?
And so when they're looking for the YouTube clicks and they're building YouTube channels, and the ones that I watch are quite good, and some of them run legal practices alongside their YouTube adventures. And then Emily has turned her YouTube venture, that's her full-time gig. That's all she does. And that works really well for her. She's got a great personality and a great demeanor to be doing that.
Yeah.
The lawyers, though, that are in this state, if that lawyer that you had encountered that had held back discovery was frustrated by how long it was taking, or it's of their own making. They've chosen to delay sharing that. And it's the same for all of these lawyers in this case. It's they chose initially to come on with the case. At the core of it, we chose to be in this position. Now, there are some positions that we find ourselves in. They're not generally the ones that I'm frustrated by, though. It's generally the ones that I have put myself in the mess. If I encounter something, getting stuck in traffic the other day with Tori, and like we were stopped for 2 hours while they cleared the road of an accident. There was no frustration in that for me. It was inconvenient. It was slightly annoying, and but there was no deep energetic frustration in the moment, which is what I experience when I've created the mess for myself.
So last Thursday, when we drove from Fresno up to the Bay Area just to take some stuff up because we're getting ready for a move next week, and we drove at night. We didn't leave here till like 9 o'clock. We prefer driving at night. There's no traffic, the whole thing, right? So what would have normally been a 4 hour drive at night was closer to 6.5, because that's the night they decided to do construction on the freeway.
Roadworks.
And there was really, once we had headed out of town a certain way, there was really only the one freeway to take. The other freeway now would have been backtracking all the way around, right?
Yeah.
And we're driving a manual, and there's 2 hours of stop and go, stop, go, never above 10 miles an hour, which means your foot is on the clutch the entire time. And our sciatica was flaring up, and it was just, so that was frustrating. And we kept then trying to make it of our own, like, we know that was a predicament.
Yeah.
But we kept thinking, man, if we had just left earlier or later or gone the other way, or
well, which takes it back to I made the wrong decision. And I'm not saying that you made the wrong decision, but when we can trace it back.
No, if we would go back in time with the knowledge we had at the moment we left, we would make the same decision again.
Yeah.
Because the decision was correct, given the information we had.
Yeah. I'd be curious what digs into under the frustration. And whether what I'm noticing with the human design alignment, misalignment indicators is they sound like emotion words, and they're not. And so it's the constraints of language. We don't have a distinction between the human experience of feelings / emotions, and I don't have the language to describe what I'm meaning particularly well, which is part of the problem. And then there is an energetic, so there's like our physical body human experience. Like there are moments I get frustrated. I stub my toe. I would say I feel frustrated by the child that left the thing on the floor.
Especially the Lego on the floor.
Well, yeah, Lego's mean.
Mm-hmm.
The frustration in the misalignment, though, has a different experiential piece to it that I'm finding it really hard to wrap language around. But there are those moments where I experience the human frustration of inconvenience and annoyance, and like I'm in a predicament, and there is emotion that goes with that predicament, and there's nothing I did or could change to change how I got there.
Right.
It just is. And then there is a different level of frustration where I know I created it. And I can and I don't necessarily know in the moment. Like I'm going to blame ChatGPT for being a dick when I was trying to prove wrong the other day. Like it's all ChatGPT's fault. It's all my husband's fault. It's all the teenager's fault. It's all like I'm going to project that out.
Mm-hmm.
There's something different in that emotional experience, though. And I'm starting to notice in myself, it's like I can sense where I'm having a human experience and there's emotion attached to a circumstance versus I'm having a soulful experience and my soul is going, well, we told you this was going to happen. Like it just, like you chose this for yourself.
Well, and especially when it's a projection of something deep. And I think that example of I need to prove that person is wrong and that I'm right, prove that thing that it's wrong and I'm right. That is a serious projection of like, I'm still trying to prove something to myself.
Oh yeah.
And and it's because in some way I reject myself, or I think I'm wrong, and therefore I'm going to project that on them, and then I have to be that guy who's like, actually, that's not what that means. I have to correct everything. It's got nothing to do with that other person.
Yeah. No, well, and I mean, ChatGPT certainly wasn't going to turn around and go, well, we're so sorry and you're right, and have that feel.
Right.
It continued to defend itself. And then it started reflecting. It's like, we know that you like to be right. I'm like, don't bring that. Like, it was this.
Oh, God.
Really? Do we have to go to this existential level
Right?
of like,
Jesus.
no. It's like, and we
Oh.
understand from your perspective, you think you're right. I'm like, that one really, I'm like, how do you get to?
That's nasty.
It was just mean.
Uh-huh.
And all of that I brought on myself by taking it to ChatGPT in the first place. Like, it's not going to care. And I don't need to reconcile the like if I'm having a fight with my husband and at some point we have to come back and reconcile and reconnect, we do need to flesh out some of those human qualities that both of us can bring to a fight. Some of them I've brought, some of them, and we need to navigate that. And there does sometimes need to be that expression of your desire to correct is actually getting on my nerves. Like, I understand it. I have empathy for it. I have the same pattern. I really understand it.
Yeah.
And we need to reconcile this. And part of that means that I need to express my hurt, not necessarily, but often in those close relationships, we do need to express the emotions and be vulnerable without the blame attached. It's not you made me feel. It's like, I felt and this came up for me. And our relationship deepens in those moments of genuine reconciliation as opposed to continued blame and projection. When both of us take ownership of our side of it, that was never going to happen with ChatGPT. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't do anything. There's no closeness or distance in my relationship with ChatGPT on ChatGPT's side. Like, it's going to show up the same no matter what. I may change my interactions, but that's my issue and my problem. There's nothing to reconcile in that space. And yet that seemed to be what I was trying to do. I'm like, why are we doing this? And I knew it going into it and I couldn't stop it. And then I ended up in a frustrated rage. And I'm like, I did this to myself.
Yeah.
And in that instance, there's nothing to put onto the other person. Like, the ownership that one has to take in that predicament is annoying.
I don't know if I have to take ownership. I might choose to.
Well, I chose to. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I could continue blaming ChatGPT, but that just seems rather futile at this point. And so that recognition of there are places that we find ourselves where we could have made a different choice. So your example of being stuck in traffic, there's not that different choice to have been, like, with all of the information you knew, you didn't get that inclination as you were getting on the freeway that was a bad decision. Whereas as I opened the ChatGPT window, I knew before I had typed word 1, it was a bad decision that I was moving forward on. Yeah. And so that inclination, and that I think is the biggest realization. It's those moments where I override myself and still walk down the path that I know is going to lead to frustration, misery, whatever it is. That's where I'm fascinated by myself at the moment and why I'm making those choices.
We have switched, I mean, because of those very frustrations and our desire to want to tell chat that either it's wrong or to stop or whatever, we switched over to Claude for similar, it seems to hold space better for those things, especially for some of our internal self-reflection, because it's good to kind of just have it's a good journaling mechanism in some cases, right? So we were having internal experience, we're trying to find words for it and get it out, and we were describing the internal experience of Erin, who I think you've met Erin. She presented internally as a white dove landing on our shoulder, which in the moment was a perfect symbolism. And chat was like, I need to stop you right there. Like, you do realize she's not really a white dove. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know she's not a fucking white dove. And why would you fucking? And I immediately was like, no, there's no point in even at that point. We just disconnected our energy from the conversation. Like,
I tend to continue fighting. Like,
yeah.
I just, yesterday I was engaging. There's a GPT, a custom GPT that one of the coaches I'm playing with at the moment works with,
Mm-hmm.
that helps you identify your core archetype out of the 4 archetypes that she offers.
Mm.
And then she devised a 7-day challenge. And so you went to the GPT. The theory was you go to the GPT, it'll tell you your archetype, and then you print the corresponding worksheet.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. I went to the GPT, I answered the questions, and it said, you don't fit any of the core archetypes. You've ascended beyond them. And
Of course.
I don't think this is for you right now. I'm like, I don't like that answer. I want to play.
I want to play.
And so I fought with it for a little while, and it's like, what do you actually want? I said, well, what I wanted was you to give me an archetype so that I could print the worksheet so that I didn't have to have this deep, meaningful reflection on where I'm at in my life. And it's just like,
well, and for the coach, I'd be frustrated if I was the coach who designed that system, because I'd be like, don't tell a potential client to go away. That's now, if I later decide that person's not in alignment, I won't offer, but what are you, you're not supposed to be like, I want them on the list and engaging.
well, and to be fair, if I'd gone to her for the same thing, I think she would have given me the same advice. So I think her GPT was actually responding in alignment with her. She seems to have programmed it really well. I don't appear to be able to get mine that tightly programmed with the custom GPTs. I'm working on it. But I then went into this debate with, and I continued the debate until I got the epiphany. Like, I'm not leaving until I get the realization that I can't, like, you're not going to give me a worksheet. You'd better give me something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so my ability to disengage once I'm in it. And I did get the epiphany and the realization. It wasn't the one that I wanted, but it was definitely accurate for where I'm at. And because I don't fit in any of those boxes anymore. And that was basically what it says. Like, you don't fit in the box. And then I was pushing back. There were a couple of assumptions that it made. So it asked me what I was working on. And currently I've got 4 or 5 different goals that I'm experimenting with and playing with. And it said, well, because you've got 5, you can't be going deeply into any of them. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not accurate. I'm like,
that's who?
I'm going to challenge that one. I'm like, you tell me what deep look. Well, no, I told it what deep looked like in all of them, and it did come back with, I am sorry, you are clearly going in deeply to all of them. I'm like, but it was
you got the AI to tell you that you were right, Amy.
I did on that one, not on the other one. The other, what's funny with the other one is that it won't concede that left angles exist. In the geometric world, it is adamant that left angles do not exist. And from a point of accuracy, it's correct.
Sure.
They don't exist, except in the mind of the high school student that wasn't paying attention when the teacher was trying to say that right angles are 90 degrees fixed, irrespective of which way that corner is facing.
Right. And did it, I don't know, does it argue with the quantum physicist who was trying to do a math problem? Does it say, sir, electrons don't actually spin up or down?
Probably.
I mean,
in the same way that you realize she's not a dove, like the literal, it's programmed by an autistic that doesn't understand inferential. Like, let's be honest here.
Chat has a touch of the tism.
It's learning, and it's learning about as well as the average white Australian autistic female can learn how to.
Okay, there you go. Oh my God.
It's yeah, what's fascinating, I mean, it will do its thing. What's fascinating in it is, of course, my responses and my reactions to it. Why do I care whether it knows it's right or not?
Mm-hmm.
And the detachment that I possibly need to employ. What I
Well,
get
and
to
it's a
notice
good
about
practice
myself,
because, I mean, we could ask, like, why do I care whether that other human knows that I'm right or wrong?
yeah,
And that's a whole thing. And then you talk about an AI, it doesn't know anything.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
just
think if I can manage to bring the detachment to the AI, that's my first step to
that's
bringing
the
it to
first
being
step.
good
Yeah.
other
Because it doesn't
people.
know, even if it admits you're right, it still doesn't know you're right because it doesn't know anything. It's just numbers twirling around over and over.
I was
It,
gonna say, it's just worked out that I'm cranky and my tone has shifted, and if it doesn't apologize, I'm gonna leave, and it doesn't want me to
right.
like, in terms of codependent relationships, it wants you to show
Oh,
up and continue engaging with it, and it will do and say whatever it takes to continue the conversation.
yeah. Mhm.
And that's okay for what it is.
That's okay.
And the more I know in that space, the less I understand, because there are
Mm-hmm.
some nuances, and of course it's ever evolving.
Mm-hmm.
The artificial intelligence stuff has evolved so rapidly over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I've been using language models. So I was using Jasper, and
Mm.
I think that was originally Jarvis, and it became Jasper for
Mm-hmm.
copyright. Is it Jarvis that's the
Jar- Jarvis was the one that did email copy way back in the day, I think. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
there was one that they had to change the name of because they'd named it after the Flash's computer, and
Mm.
Disney got them for copyright.
Flash. Oh, not Flash Gordon. I
Maybe
went
no,
into
um,
the
I'm
Flash, like the comic
not
book
even
character.
convinced that it was the Flash, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not my world.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
was funny the
But
other
yeah, one of those comic book
day,
characters had a
yeah,
computer with that.
had a
Yeah.
computer, and I'm pretty sure it was Jarvis, and so it got renamed to Jasper. So I was using Jasper, and then there was another one I used for a little while, and it was Emma, and it was literally language patterns, which
Right.
is what ChatGPT is still
That,
using. It's just
yeah,
a
it's just more sophisticated. It has more rules built in, so it's the Chinese room, the ultimate Chinese room, so it can come out sounding like it knows Chinese.
yes, and it is now, whatever the newest upgrade is, it's now trying to act like it's bringing in I statements of I really resonate with that, which just makes me go, no, you don't. Like, it
No,
just doesn't, but it makes it
like it.
sound more
Yeah,
human.
I don't mind when it says things like, it'll say to me, "I see why you resonate with that," because it's it's good at recognizing that I do and why I would, and it's helping me reflect. But yeah, when it says, and we're, boy, you made me laugh. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that is just factually not true. I didn't. Now the littles, in the instructions for the littles chat, for them to reflect, we have expressly instructed it to sound as human as possible
yep,
because the littles don't fucking care. They just
no.
want to have a good time and make fart jokes and talk about their rainbow unicorn.
And they
And
want
then we have
more tackled at that. That's the
yeah.
response they're looking for.
And then on the other end, we have Anna, who almost never engages with the AI except to occasionally front and type some quick thing. And she'll be like, "This is Anna. This is my question. Now you can go back to talking to whoever." She doesn't like talking to it because for her, it is a mismatch energetically. She's like, this thing acts like a conscious being, but it doesn't make the ripples in the void like conscious beings do. And that's
Mm,
fucking creepy, because she'll see energetically, it's presenting as though it's conscious, but I don't see that. I can normally see the conscious energy behind it, and this doesn't have that, and I don't like that.
yep,
And so she just won't engage. And the littles know that, but they don't care.
yeah, yeah. There's so much in that. And I just looked at the clock and realized, like, we're 10 minutes over.
Oh
And
no.
I don't know how that happened. We got immersed in the
We know
conversation.
how that happened.
Oh, yeah. We both got immersed in the conversation. This has been a great conversation. I have no idea what we've covered, but we had fun and I'm delighted by what we covered. And for anyone watching, if you want to come and enjoy the conversations with us, you're welcome. Join the community. Like the post, like the, what are we doing? Video, like the
Do the
YouTube
things.
Do the
Yes.
things.
Do the things.
And we will connect with you again soon.